That is really the downside of fame. And it's like everybody always tells you that like it shouldn't be like that, but it's like almost an accepted thing that it works that way and you're just supposed to deal with it. But it's not as easy. He insisted on the fact that I must love him and be together with him, and also stalked me on the airport and other occasions. I got the police involved, but basically they said they can't do anything until he gets physical, so when it's too late, right? Yeah, this is always the same problem with the police in those cases. Okay, so unfortunately we're kind of meeting under bad circumstances because something horrible actually happened to Keekihime. It started around 2 p.m. JST, Japan time, you know, early afternoon, and got assaulted by a stalker that she's had for many years. So she's had several problems with that guy. It's been a while. He's been stalking her. She blocked him multiple times. We'll get to it later, but this isn't a first time occurrence, which is really yikes. And unfortunately, it is the reality of a lot of female celebrities. It's kind of like the downside of doing what she's doing, which is, it's actually sad. It's like, you know, once you get into that line of work, that this type of stuff is going to happen to you, but nothing really prepares you for dealing with this because it's insane. It's insane. And before I went fully into content creation, I used to drive myself crazy watching these kind of videos where like girls talk. What do you mean don't say her PL name? We're only talking about the PL right now. So there's this stalker comic hit, and basically she was having a photo shoot session on the rooftop, and as she was posing for the camera, he goes around and hugs her, and she lets out a scream. And this is a photographer, if I recall properly, and he's the first person to tweet about it on social media. So he says he was a stalker at Comic-Con, and a Azuka cosplayer was screaming and the stalker cameraman was surrounded by staff. And then this tweet from the same guy, he's like the first whistleblower. So he says, I heard a woman cosplaying as Azuka screaming at the cosplay plaza at Comic-Con, so I went to see what was going on. It turned out she was screaming because a stalker cameraman was approaching her. I heard that the stalker cameraman had been arrested by the police before. But for now, he is hiding his face. Around 4 hours later, she replies to this tweet saying, one thing to add is that this guy is not a camera guy. Other than that, thank you. Okay, this one came before this reply, actually. So Keekihime tweets, by the way, I'm done for the day with photos. Thanks for coming. I love that she starts this like really polite. Like, what the hell? That girl's a trooper. I got assaulted by an old stalker and had a panic attack in front of hundreds of people. So honestly, I feel disgusting and I don't know what to think. I will, unless it's illegal, release a photo of his face later with more details. And her commenter says, recommend filing a police report, take care. She replies, I talked to the police and they said I gotta go to the embassy because she doesn't live there. But it's kind of dumb. If somebody does a crime to you and you don't live there, shouldn't they still get arrested by the police? So this guy is pushing back a little bit on what Keekihime said. As much as I hate to say it, the only people that should be seeing that picture are 1, convention security, and 2, the local police. Posting it on social media could turn out to be more trouble than it's worth. Hope you're okay, otherwise get with a bunch of friends. Neither of them can do anything according to their own words to me. So this guy had no shame. He literally walked up in the middle of everybody and hugged her from behind. So even if she's like, a lot of people are like, just be around people, be around friends. I mean, these people are shameless. There's literally a guy that there's a K-pop group that was performing, and he goes up on stage and he tries to kidnap the girl in front of everybody. That's literally like in front of everybody, cameras filming, audience, don't care. These people are just not right in the head. Second Keekihime response, I'm with a cosplay fair right now, so I'm trying to stay normal and calm, but a thought just came to me that this stalker could literally kill me right then and there if he had a knife with me. the way he jumped me and held me for like 10 full seconds. True though. You don't realize how much in danger you were until like a couple seconds later, because what if he had a knife or a weapon or something? You used the Wayback Machine to find his post, and one of his pinned tweets talked about his long distance relationship with someone in 2021, most likely Kiki. Yeah, you're probably in shock or like under adrenaline. And there's a following reply to this, and she states, I wrote another tweet. I don't know where it went. Maybe it'll show up later, but anyway, I'll do a Twitter space later. I need to let it out. Somebody replies, I'm not a regular, but I'm glad to hear that you're safe. I can't believe this happened to you. I'm so sorry. TBH, I don't know if I could call it that. I'm safe. I'm safe now, maybe, but I wasn't them. The problem with stalkers is that, I mean, I'm sure you guys are like, even if she was in America, the police doesn't do anything unless something already happened. Like Amaranth, she had a stalker for many years, and he left his family in Europe. He gave up on everything to go camp in front, like across her house, and he would leave her creepy messages. He would carry like a guitar case around, which she believed would be probably to hide a weapon eventually. And true, she even recorded him stalking, and they did nothing. And also he streamed it. He said everything on stream. They had video footage, everything. Like they had intention, alibi, all of that. And because he didn't do anything yet, the police wouldn't do anything. They would refuse to. Like they will only respond when it's too late. It's kind of stupid. So at this point, wait, did I skip a tweet? I think I skipped a tweet. All right, so at this point, she's like, I'm gonna open DMs. I'm trying to get in touch with the photographer that was taking my pictures, that's seen like everything go down because he was photographing her. So she's like, I'm gonna open my DM and I hope the photographer reaches out to me. She gets flooded by a bunch of fans, even though she asked people not to spam her, but people are just like, oh my god, I'm so sorry this happened to you. She does another tweet asking people to like keep her inbox clear, because she's just wants to be able to find the pictures. And then he responds and he says, sorry to keep everyone waiting. I was the photographer who was shooting at the scene. The following is the situation at that time. I just had taken the first photo when a man suddenly jumped out of behind the roadblock. Everyone was stunned because of the suddenness of the incident. At that time, two thoughts flashed through my head. He was someone she knew who was following him. Is she kidding? Or, okay, is he kidding? The translations, it always does like the opposite. Like for he, it says she, and for she, it says he when it's machine translated. So it's written she here, so he means him. He was wondering if the guy that was hugging him was like just joking, or is she really being attacked? So I subconsciously took this photo of the attack. So that's him over here. Then he grabs her from behind. You can clearly see that she's not enjoying it. She's like trying to pull, she's like recoiling on herself to like protect herself. And luckily there's some people that try to push him away and take him away from her after that. Have you looked at what happened to Rin Asabi? Wait, that name sounds super familiar. Which one is it, Chris? I don't, these pictures are a little bit disturbing. Sorry guys, I should have given a disclaimer actually before showing that. However, when they heard Key screaming loudly, everyone realized it was the latter, and I immediately rushed forward to separate the two. In another like report that I've seen, one of the photographers is like, we were shooting on the ceiling with a bunch of cosplayers. That's where all the cosplayers were. And suddenly I hear like a woman screaming, and that must have been Keekihime. So I immediately rushed forward to separate the two. Oh, he's the one that separated. All right, good guy. At that moment that I asked him if he was someone Key knew, she said she was a stalker who had been following her for a long time. During an event a few years ago, he even wanted to pounce on her and kiss her, saying that he wanted to marry her. It's deranged. Not long after the two of them were separated, the staff came forward to ask what happened. The following is what I dreamed about. Again, I don't understand this translation. This must be a mistranslation. Okay, this deep L translation is totally different. Not long after pulling them apart, the staff came up and asked what was going on. Here's what I dreamt up. Although my Japanese is quite poor, I could have sensed that the organizers wanted to keep the matter quiet during the conversation. But I could understand where they were going with this, as the police would have made a big deal out of it. And it would have tied up their hands even more, which is something we don't want to see. But it's very unfair to Hime to do so. After all, she's a victim. Oh, they tend to have multiple meaning for words. Okay. So staff didn't say anything. Of course, if you want to call the police, you can. But everyone will have to make a record and the rest of the itinerary may be ruined. When everyone started thinking about this, they suddenly found that the stalker had disappeared. At first, I found out that the staff didn't catch him tightly. In order to avoid this happening, I took a few photos of the stalker. Looking back now, it's good that I kept the photos first. Yeah, he actually had a good reflex. Yeah, we'll get to the Twitter space after. I'm going in order. Afterwards, staff took photos of the stalker on the camera with me. It's unclear whether they were follow-up measures afterwards, because it's not clear. I mean, the staff should have the photos of that guy like in their, I don't know, in their employee room or whatever, like watch out for him or something. Hope you don't make random assumptions, because they will do something afterward, but they didn't act so quickly because the event had just ended, so please leave some time for the staff first. After the photos were taken, people asked if Key whether to retreat first, but Key looked at the back of the line. There are still a lot of people, although scared to tears, but Key is still very professional. Slightly adjusted and forced a smile to photograph and then start. And so she kept her photo session, like she continued doing the photo session and meeting everybody in the line. I feel like they should have called the police. Yes, it would have held up the event. Well, it doesn't really have to hold up the whole event if you just, you know, bring the group to the side and have the police handle it. It's much safer. We shouldn't let that guy just run away. And that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Time to hire some bodyguards, Rima. Yeah, I got my mod and the cavalry. I know Bao has a bodyguard. She's mentioned it before. It's a little bit more difficult to travel with a bodyguard depending on where you're going. Bodyguards cost a lot of money. If it's like a 24, like if it's an all year round bodyguard or security, it's at least 100 grand, but if it's just for one event, maybe it's less. So thank you for the people who came forward to provide assistance at the time of the incident and the fan club. Everyone worked hard. Finally, I apologize to all the fans of Key because I was hesitant and could not prevent Key from being bear hugged in time. In retrospect, I feel very sorry for Key. These are the situations I still remember at the time, and if there are any misunderstandings, please correct me. The above photos and content are posted only after I have discussed with Key, so the time is late. Translation and diffusion is okay. So if we go back on her Twitter feed, since 2018, this has been an ongoing issue with her. Rick, no matter how many accounts you create, we will block them. Should I call the police again? Stop stalking me. Don't come see me. Is it still going on? And she replies, yes, I always make a new account and ask for forgiveness and a chance. Okay, okay, sorry, it's a bad translation. I think she means he always makes a new account and says, forgive me, I don't, you know, and give me another chance. The fan replies, the princess is really having a hard time. I feel sorry for her. Shall I call him and get mad at him? If you have the guy's phone number, DM me. I see. Next time you get a chance, ask the police for the phone number of this Rick guy. I think you need to give him a good beating. Well, I'll leave that to you, princess. The police were so angry that they were lecturing us. I don't think there's anything I can do. The police have been useless since 2018. And another one on September 25th. This was made on September 12th. This is September 25th. At Mirror Rick. Stop making me keep telling you not to message me because it's disgusting, you stalker. When I think of that Tokyo game show 2 years ago or so, where a stalker of mine came up to me and tried to kiss me and continued to follow me wherever I went, also in other events, makes me feel relieved that there weren't any events during my stay that I could go to after all. He insisted on the fact that I must love him and be together with him, and also stalked me on the airport and other occasions. I got the police involved, but basically they said they can't do anything until he gets physical, so when it's too late, right? This is always the same problem with the police in those cases. It's always when it's too late. I think that JP is being useless for outsiders in general. Is it time that they must change so close to a Oshinoko event and like USA prison? I think in the USA it's also the same though. It's only until he gets physical that they can call the police. That would count as a physical assault, right? You're not allowed to grab somebody like this. So that should count. But then the JP police didn't do anything this time either. Is that not enough? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It should be enough. Like, jeez, man. I agree that harassment isn't just physical, but I don't think the police cares about the other kind of harassment. From my understanding of this. When I was like doom scrolling, like stalking situation, that's what I learned. Sexual harassment in Japan is a slap on the wrist. They kind of have a problem with that. I thought they were working to fixing it though. It's definitely disappointing. I believe only way police would have done something would have been if they had him at the scene. They should have called the police. They had pictures of him. They know what he looks like. They can probably easily find his name. Japan is no safe haven after all. Carrying pepper spray around in JP is illegal, lol. So she can't defend herself. A fan reply, oh god, that sounds like an awful experience. I hope you never have to deal with anything like that ever again. Honestly, the audacity of some people appalls me sometimes. I've had a bunch of other incidents like stalkers and sexual harassment over the past 10 years. So yeah, at this point, I'm just really paranoid and trying to stay at home most of the time and trust no one. Even worse, the event staff lost track of him, so she couldn't contact the embassy at that point either. That's so dumb. That is so frustrating to hear. I can't help the crazy ones. I don't know if the stalker is Japanese, but as a Japanese, I'm sorry. I was Japanese, but don't worry, there are stalkers in Austria too. It doesn't matter what your nationality is, there are scary people all over the world. Having something to protect yourself with like a small knife or pepper spray when you go outside might be a good idea. People are scary. I hope that you don't ever have to experience those things again. For KFP is like the most wholesome fan base, by the way. That's illegal in Japan. Apparently, you may only bring something to protect yourself if you 100% know something is gonna happen for sure. Something concrete, specific, weird rule. How are you supposed to know something so specific? This is the Japanese law. What are potential causes of action? Potential causes of action under the main Japanese legislation are as follows. Under the Code of Civil Procedure, generally the victim may claim for damage by claiming and proving the fact that 1. He/she has been assaulted or mentally abused, and the fact that the assault or mental abuse has caused damage. Well, I think she can prove that part, the A part. In addition, a protection order under the Prevention of Spousal Violence Act may be ordered by the district court if a victim is highly likely to experience serious harm due to further bodily harm caused by the spouse. Under the Code of Criminal Procedure, any act of physical violence against another person constitutes a crime of assault. So it is assault under the Penal Code. As for verbal violence, it may constitute a crime of insult under the Penal Code, but it is a minor crime, and cases upholding a crime of insults are rare. In addition, certain repeated behaviors to a certain person defined as stalking under the Anti-Stalking Act are prohibited, and a person who commits stalking would be punished by way of imprisonment for up to 1 year or a fine of up to 1 million GPY. So it is punishment by imprisonment. That should count. That should fall under that category. The anti-stalking. He was arrested once before, but I don't know if he was convicted with anything. Like I don't have that part of the information. In 2021, she tweeted about this again. I already had problems with a creepy stalker at a JP convention way before, like 2 to 5 years ago, so I feel like nowadays would be worse. I can't be as carefree anymore as I used to. You know why Goomba never goes public? Well, it's not the same. Keekihime's job is being a cosplayer and going to those events. And she likes doing those events. So now, in order to protect herself, she's released the pictures of the Phoenix Rick guy. And it's the exact same, you know, Rick guy. His account got nuked or he privated. So it's that dude. So it's definitely him. That's how they confirmed his identity. So, okay, so he privated, so he's totally aware of what he's doing, by the way. He's just trying to escape it. And then, wait, was that posted right after? Apparently he went on his way to eat food right after, like as if nothing happened. Can I open this? The hell? Actual mental illness. So the Comiket staff cannot do anything as police won't do a thing because it's a foreigner case. And Keekihime just retweeted this, well, just a few hours ago. According to a certain source, the stalker of Keekihime at Comiket, or rather the person who sexually assaulted Keekihime, was a man known as Rick, who was famous for making appearances in dark baseball, dark walking, and other events, then running away without paying. Okay, so not only is he doing all of these horrible things, he's also not even paying. Hey guys, just sexually harassed my favorite idol. Let's go eat a mukbang. Another PTSD for Princess Cake wrestling with Shifter was in 2016, so maybe it's been around that time. Like Mel has had to deal with multiple stalker incidents. There was another instance where a guy followed her back home, like to her door. And then there's this guy, but it's just really sad. It's horrible. It's just horrible. So this guy has been stalking her for 10 years. Then Keekihime tweets, with that, the topic is done. I'll move on, but knowledge is power. This is after she tweeted the photos. Now for the Twitter space, she did a Twitter space over here.
Doesn't fucking matter what happens to you.
It's like 15 minutes long. I mean, we can listen to it fully, or I can give you the TLDR too. Yeah, she did a Twitter space after that because she said she needed to vent. I'll give you guys the summary, then we can listen to it if people still want to listen to it. It's an hour long, so we can listen to it in 2x speed maybe. So about Comiket, it's not her first time there. It's also not her first stalker incident with this guy, like I told you guys. And basically, Keekihime did let her guard down because she didn't think the stalker was still on her, since it was a long time that she didn't hear about him. And basically she says that the guy has been delusional about the fact that he's in love with her and that she's in love with him. He believes that she's in love with him too for many years. And she noted that he also harassed her online, and it resulted in her blocking him on many online accounts. The incident happened at the rooftop area, which is where most of the cosplayers gathered. And the incident started when she started taking photos. The first cameraman in queue that was taking pictures is the one who took the photos of the incident. She screamed after she was suddenly jumped / attacked by the guy from behind, as seen in the photo from Dreaming Nuzagi. And it took many people to separate him from Keekihime. So she has reported it to the police many times before, but despite being helpful, the police will not be able to help legally and advise her to go to the embassy to get further legal help. And she'll likely hire a bodyguard to accommodate her in the future. I hope this gets resolved so she can attend cons in the future, but yeah, probably she's gonna have to hire a bodyguard. I don't know how expensive those are in JP, but that sucks. That is really the downside of fame. And it's like everybody always tells you that like it shouldn't be like that, but it's like almost an accepted thing that it works that way and you're just supposed to deal with it. But it's not as easy. I watched a video the other day about this Twitch streamer. She's like a blonde girl, and there was a dude that drove from another city to her house. He carried a large bin of gasoline. He put the bin of gasoline on her car, on her Jaguar, and she had like a front surveillance camera, so it recorded everything. And he set her Jaguar on fire, and the fire was huge. Like, you can see it all on camera. He does it so methodically, like he planned it. He totally planned it. And then he sets the car on fire, and the fire goes up so fast, and it even starts burning the front of the house. Like, what? I don't know, man. Then he goes back in his car and he drives away. Yeah, people are just psychos, and when you reach such a broad audience as Keekihime, I mean, she's got a decently large account. like 235,000 followers. I mean, you end up getting the attention of a few psychos. The fact that someone can harass and stalk a woman for over a decade is just disgusting. I would call Japan's law on self-defense and stalking a joke, but jokes are funny. Yeah. No, absolutely. But what's that gonna do? She's unable to press charges in Japan, and hopefully he isn't Google enough to come to Austria, although that would probably help with his incarceration. Yeah, you're right, actually. Hold up, let me do a quick research. Can she really not press any charges? It says here that Japanese criminal law is applicable to both citizens of Japan and foreigners who commit crimes within the territory of Japan. No legal distinction is made between Japanese and foreign nationals receive no discriminatory treatment in Japan. Okay. It's not really a secret of her other life, and this account warrants security details, and definitely the other account. There is a duality of reasons why those talents aren't allowed to walk the floor during their con. They're not allowed to walk the floor during their con? Probably, yeah, because people would recognize them and it's dangerous and they're expecting Hololive girls there, but I don't know. Like, the thing is, if you stop yourself from doing what you love and doing what you want because of a stalker, they're also winning in a way. And you don't want to give them that much power either just because of a threat. Yeah, and they can't run their private lives, as some other commenters are saying. But they aren't, correction, they aren't allowed to walk the floor as their VTuber persona. Yeah, not that the person we're discussing right now is a VTuber persona or anything, but like, hypothetically, if they did, maybe. Okay, so that makes more sense. Ina mentioned that she wanted to walk HoloFest and was prevented by management. I mean, smart. Yeah, no, I agree, because just opening your mouth, like, imagine if you crossed me at a store. Isn't my voice so distinguishable that you would immediately recognize me? So just the fact that they could get recognized by their voice is dangerous enough. I wouldn't let them walk the floor either. You just go backstage, you do your thing, and you get driven home in a van. There was also like I talked about this in the dark side, the broken world of idols. There is a Japanese idol group who was leaving a venue in a van, and somebody else had rented another van very similar to the one they were traveling in, and they had parked right in front of the door. And like, the group leaves the venue straight into the van because like there's a bunch of fans, and the manager steps in and he's like, whoa, something's wrong, something doesn't feel right, this is in our van. And he like immediately makes them come out of the van before the van, like, people could drive away with them. But they attempted to kidnap them, and these were boys too. So it doesn't just happen to female idols, it also happens to male idols. Do you remember that JP idol that got doxed through the reflection of her eyeball? Yeah, that's a crazy one. Did Mel have a stalker of a manager a long time ago? Yeah, she did. So she had a stalker, and he wasn't a stalker at first, he was just her manager, but he would often try to corner her in like private talk, where he was like, hey Mel, let's have a meeting, talk about business. And then they didn't talk about business all the time, and he was being like weird and creepy with her. They eventually, like, Cover Corp eventually moved him to another department, so they weren't working directly together. But she even says that sometimes he would keep her up, like, under the guise of being in a business meeting till like the early hours of the morning, till like 2-3 a.m. And then she starts receiving a bunch of messages from multiple like anonymous and burner accounts. So she blocks them all, you know. She keeps on receiving more harassment of sexual nature as well, you know, really gross stuff. And then he like made a mistake, and he accidentally messaged her from his work email. So she recognized him, and then she realized it was her ex-manager that was still working at, you know, Cover Corp. And this is where the story gets a little foggy, because she claims that, well, she had to hire a lawyer to handle it, and people say that like Cover Corp didn't really protect her because she had to hire a private investigator to find out who he was. So there's something there that like Cover Corp didn't do their job, and she had to take several hiatus. She had to postpone her birthday stream, and then when she came back from her hiatus, Cover and her made a statement together. But the statement, when it was translated, it kind of said something. It didn't specifically state that he had been fired, so the rat was that like they had just moved him to another department. But honestly, I think he was fired because that shit's crazy. It's crazy to keep somebody like this around. No, it was her who hired the investigator. Anyway, it doesn't have... I don't know why we're talking about VTubers now. It has nothing to do with our topic. But yeah, that's the story of this other idol stalker. Do you guys want to hear this?
From the beginning. So I went to Comic today, and as you may know, I tried going to Comic before 2 or 1.5 years ago, I guess, for the winter Comic, and that was going to be the first time in a long time. And who knows, that guy probably was there waiting for me. Too bad I didn't come out to cosplay because I failed, because I forgot my cosplay part of it. So 1.5 years ago, I was going to go, but then it didn't work out. So this was going to be like my revenge. This was going to be my revenge. I was going to be there for the first time in many years, enjoying myself at Comic. I haven't been to Comic for like 5 years, I think. Like before Corona and even before that. So...
Oh yeah, another stalking incident. There is a VTuber recently that tweeted, she's an indie VTuber, that she received a package in her PO box. So even if you have a PO box, be careful. And in one of the package, there was a hidden air tag. So if you do receive gifts from people, never open them at home. Make sure to check them like in a parking lot or a third space like a coffee shop before you go home.
Ideally, I did not want to go to Summer Comic but to Winter Comic. But I've been to Comic many times before. And I know how it is, and there's been incidents with the same guy as well at Comic or was it Tokyo Game Show? I'm not sure. In the end, same thing. Although I think it was Comic. So I don't know. Should I start with the history of me and him, or the whole day? Like first tell how the day went, and then the history of me and him. I don't know. I think I'll tell the day roughly first. Don't worry, nothing. I won't tell you all the uninteresting details, but basically I came to Comic. I announced it beforehand because it's been so long since I was at an event like this in Japan, and I did not think of this guy's existence anymore because I haven't given him an opportunity to assault me for a long time, I suppose. I thought he would have, by now, moved on, go somewhere else, and leave me alone. Because I didn't even think of the possibility that he could be there. So I thought it would be fine to, you know, share that I'm going. And I wanted to give the opportunity to fans to see me. And I just wanted to do my normal cosplay stuff, you know. Years ago, I would always say where I'm going at events and all that. I just wanted it to be normal. So I announced that I was going. So you definitely saw that. And I came in early, and then I did my makeup and my everything. And then I was done pretty early, and I went to the rooftop. The rooftop cosplay area is like the most popular cosplay area they have. Like all the cool people go there. And I wanted to go there too because like the other areas that
That's kind of an added layer of danger that you're on a rooftop and somebody's got a hold of you, especially if you're a small person. Like, I'd be scared.
Always used to go to were closed forever. So I went to the rooftop, which is like the hottest place. And so I spent like 2 hours there, and everything was fine during those first 2 hours. Then I went in to take a break.
Okay.
I said hi to Iori Moe, which was awesome. One of the positive things of the day. I met Iori Moe and we took a selfie, and then she wanted a selfie too, and she followed me back on Twitter. Okay, yay, let's go. A nice thing. I really like her. She's so cute. So I said hi to her and, you know, just like try to cool down from the heat outside, taking a little break. Eventually, I decided to go back in, but there were people like hoping to still find me. Like even people that like a camera guy that I knew from many years ago was still trying to find me. So I thought I have to share where I am and where I go, you know? So I shared, okay, I'm going again to the rooftop. Now I will be there for 1.5 hours or so. So I make my way onto the rooftop, and it's really crowded this time, really hard to find a space. So I'm walking around with a few like fans or photographers.
That's wild that it was a crowded rooftop. You can like barely find a space, but he followed her there and he found her through all of that. Isn't that insane? He was like laser focused on her. Oh, she tweeted up beforehand where she can be found. Okay. Yeah, but she hadn't heard about him in a while, so I also understand why she did that.
Photographers who want a picture. Behind me, we're like making our way through the crowd slowly. I finally find a space that looks good. And it's kind of like, so it's like this big open area generally, but it's full with people, and there's like fencing things off. And you're only allowed to take photos as a cosplayer in designated areas within these fenced off areas so that people can still walk in between, right? So I found a good spot that was like the corner of a fenced area. Pretty easy to like see me because I would be right where people walk by. And you can see this in the picture. You can see this in the picture that I retweeted most recently, a few minutes ago, in case you haven't seen yet. In the first picture. So this is the moment. I arrived with the people that have found me and followed me to take a picture. Like some just I picked up on the way, kind of, I guess, without knowing. I put my things down in this corner that I found. I put my suitcase there, I put it in position with my name sign and everything, and I'm like, okay, let's get started. And I have my line in front of me, and the first guy stands there, and he's getting ready to take a picture. Like, we're literally just starting, and there's like 20 people in the line, right? We're literally just starting, and these people have been waiting for me and looking for me all over this event where hundreds of thousands of people are looking for me. No, not looking for me. Hundreds of thousands of people are going to the event, and there's people looking for me, so it's hard to find me, so I want to give them the opportunity to find me, right? That's why I'm doing this. So, the first guy, we're literally just getting started. He takes one picture, and that one picture is the very moment where from behind me, like diagonally behind me, someone jumps over the fence, and I kind of like, it was diagonally behind me. I think I like low-key partially looked behind me, maybe? I don't remember so well, but I feel like I was aware that someone was like jumping over the fence. Maybe I saw the leg or so in the side of in the corner of my eye. But I thought, in that moment, I thought it was maybe somebody, like, you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to jump over the fence, but maybe somebody really felt like they had to make a shortcut for some reason, or pass by. So I didn't, that's why I thought, oh, this is normal in a way, so I won't look back. And then it happened so fast. He's much taller than me. I'm 1 meter 60 centimeters, and I don't know his exact height, but he's pretty tall.
Damn.
In a crowd of Japanese people. He's Japanese, but he's very tall and a little bit on the wider side, but not too crazy. Not very muscular at all.
Okay.
But, you know, the size of him is big, much bigger than me.
Dude,
like
that's
2 heads.
That's crazy that he ruined her photo, like, up in the first, like, few minutes of it. Literally the first minute, he ruined it for everybody else because he wanted to be selfish and assault a girl that was just posing for the camera and wanted to cosplay for a day and meet her fans. I get constantly spammed with AirTags no tips at the train. That must be annoying.
It's bigger maybe than me. So kind of intimidating in size, but his face looks like a piece of shit coward bastard. So his face is like not intimidating. His face is really just the face of a disgusting pig. So with that being said, it happened so fast. He jumps over the fence diagonally behind me. He, like, you see it in the picture when I say he grabbed me, he didn't just grab my arm or something. He grabbed my whole body, like jumped me, and I'm like kind of like trying to get away from him. He still jumps me and grabs me, and I don't get away from him. And this whole time I'm screaming out of the top of my lungs from fear and terror because this guy gives me PTSD because it's not the first time. And I did not expect this ever, that I would see this fucking piece of shit son of a... I didn't think I would see him again. It jumps me, and I'm screaming, and I'm screaming, and I'm screaming, and this felt like an eternity. I think it was unreasonably long. I think, okay, I will give the people, the excuse that they were surely confused and shocked. That resulted in him being on me longer than I would have wished. I mean, ideally, he should have never touched me. But it felt like an eternity, and I felt disgusted and sick in my stomach. And it felt like, okay, realistically, maybe it was 10 seconds and it felt like an eternity. You know, when something happens and it's not that long in reality, but every second longer makes it so much worse and makes it feel an hour longer or whatever.
Yeah.
And
it kind of feels like she froze, but I don't know. I thought I saw a video, but maybe I'm crazy. People don't know what decimals are. 160 centimeters is 5.25 feet, aka 5 feet and 3 inches. Okay, so it's only 1 foot shorter than me. Not foot, the other one. I'm 5'4", so it's not that much of a big difference.
Obviously, I'm screaming and not liking it. He's not letting go. People finally start to grab him, I think. I don't really know what was happening, but they're grabbing him. And I would assume several people tried to like get him off of me, drag him away, but he's like really holding on strong. Finally, they get him off of me. By the way, he didn't grope any parts of my body specifically, like let's say like boobs or...
Wait, did I say 6'3"? No, I meant 5'4". Did I say 6? I keep saying words that I don't mean. No, 5, not 6.
Or so. Not that I could, in that moment, be aware of. It was more like a full body grab, like, bro. And then they finally get him off of me, and I'm like hyperventilating and like so in shock. Like my body wants to cry, my body wants to puke, my body...
Yeah, she had an anxiety attack.
He wants to scream more, my body wants to kill him. My body wants to just like, I'm freaking out. I'm it's like, you know, this is the most crowded cosplay area. Everybody's like shocked at what's happening. I think my screams were so loud, like people in a 200-meter radius probably heard me. Everybody looked around. People stopped when they weren't supposed to stop in the pathways. They were like, just please keep on moving, please keep on moving. But everybody's just stopping, looking. Some people are filming, and everybody's just shocked.
Yeah,
and
but help
there's like a cosplayer
her.
next to me, and I feel really bad to her because when I was like running away from the guy being grabbed, I very much intruded her like personal space.
Yeah, but I hate that. I feel like no one ever does anything nowadays. Like if they see something happening, they're not even trying to help the bystander effect. Yeah, the other day I went out with my family because I have family out of town, and there was a guy in one of the bars that we went that was unresponsive, and my friend was the only person who tried to help him. Like he called the cops on him, he stayed with him the whole time, complete stranger, but no one else cared. No one else cared. No one did anything. It was so weird to see all these people partying and stuff around that guy. I was like basically unconscious. What the hell? We're way too selfish as a society nowadays.
And with all the people then being around me, trying to protect me, yeah, we were like, obviously, like, I apologized to her, and she was like, oh, it's okay, don't worry. And she was also like, you know, everybody close by could not, like, just move on with what they were doing. They were, like, all shocked. So I'm sure she understood the situation. Like, I feel like, you know, we girls, we gotta hold together and be strong and support each other. I'm sure she sees it the same way, but yeah, everybody's looking, and then Comiket staff, like, this is all happening fast, right? Comiket staff comes over, like 3 or so, and like join the like circling of the bastard. This is also, I think, visible in the pictures that I retweeted. And then this just happened hours ago, and I can't like even remember every single proper order of things and things that were said, but he was like, you know, this guy is mentally ill, and let's say there's several levels of mentally ill people and what they will be capable of doing.
True.
This guy is, yeah, concerningly mentally ill to a level where I would say there could have been a version of the story where he had a knife and stabbed me. I find this very realistic, and that should tell you on what level of mentally ill this guy is.
That frustrates me so much to hear. I'm so annoyed. I think the worst part of this is that we're powerless to help her, and she's powerless to do anything. That's the worst part.
I guess he was still delusional enough to think that I love him, even though I have never said such a thing.
I don't get
it. And many times already rejected him, blocked him, reported him to the police. Would I do that if I love you? Would I run away from you several times? Would I report you to the Narita airport police many years ago when you were following me upon my arrival and not stopping to follow me? So I had to go to the police and report him back then, and they talked to him. Would I do that if I love you and wanted to marry you? Okay, fucking delusional, mentally ill guy. So
what kind of mental illness makes you do that? Because we need a psychologist to analyze this behavior. Not all countries have Good Samaritan laws. Aww. Unless there is a dire situation or children. Yeah. It's just that Good Samaritan situations are tricky. You cannot get sued if you hurt someone when trying to restrain the person. Oh, you can get sued if you hurt someone when trying to restrain the person. Oh, okay, that's what Charlie's saying. So if you hurt somebody because they attacked somebody else, you could get in trouble because it's not self-defense, technically. Some kind of obsessive disorder / schizophrenia. Oh yeah, it could be,
Okay, let me finish the situation story, and then I give you more of a background that this guy has with me. So people are like, who is this? And I'm like, it's my stalker. I say that in Japanese. It's my stalker, and I don't even want to say that because me saying that in Japanese or in English makes me feel sick, because the word my, when I think about it, like while I'm saying it, it's hard for me to say. I don't know how to explain this, but it's almost like a friendly thing. Do you know what I mean? Like saying my to somebody who you hate and this you're disgusted by and you don't want to see, or you
yeah, my is like a, what do you say? It's like your possession almost, but it's like no. I don't have anything to do with that guy. I don't want to be tied to that person. But also just the realization that you're a victim when you don't think of yourself that way is also a shock for a lot of people. I also had like a situation with somebody at that point. I think the biggest thing was for me to realize that like I was like, ew, I can't believe I let this happen to me. This isn't like me.
Steve or anything. I don't want to say any word that is attached with my. I don't want him to be my anything. Fucking throw up. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, it makes it personalized, and I don't want anything. No, anyway. So like he's asking, he's like, oh, why? What do you mean? No, I'm your stalker. I don't. Why didn't you block me? And I'm blocking him. I don't even know his Twitter anymore. I must have blocked it a million years ago. And then he's like, but I've been sending you mails. What do you like? Okay, I get like weird mails every now and then. And now that I think about it, oh yeah, there was certainly like some stalker emails that could have been from him that were insane and just weird. And you know, the typical, oh, I love you, marry me, you love me too, blah blah blah. Haven't looked at it in a long time. But then probably I put the emails on like mute as well, like the sender. So how is any of that, like how is you sending me emails an excuse for you doing that? How is that a defense? Do you mean I should be aware of, like I've never replied to an email once. How does that excuse anything? But you know, he's like making these delusional defense comments. In his mind, all of this surely makes sense. So he's screaming over, like we're like a few meters apart. Everybody's like circled by people. He's screaming these things over and I'm hyperventilating, feeling sick. I don't want to talk to him or see him. So I'm like, why the fuck is he still here? Because he's not leaving, he's like staying, and he still continues to stay, and I don't even know. Like they were asking me like how.
But is somebody grabbing him? Why is there no security? Why does somebody just get to cross over a fence onto a cosplayer and we let him do that?
Who he is, and I'm like, yeah, he's just a stalker who we had incidents before, and I reported him to the police before, and this and that, and I don't know what they were talking with him there. Really, I was not able to listen because I was panicking. I'm pretty sure that was a panic attack. And then. Like he's there for a while, right? And then I thought, because I didn't see him anymore, I thought they brought him just like somewhere else to.
They were probably understaffed. Yeah, I understand, but at the same time, they're in charge of the security of the guests and the visitors that are attending the con. And if something happens there, they could be liable to a much higher degree of monetary damage or potentially have a lawsuit on their hands. So isn't it just better to hire a few more security guards? Comic-Con usually averages around 100k. That's insane. They're responsible for any and all attendees' safety. Yes, attendee is the right word. Thank you.
Have me calm down, have him not be in my view, have him not talk to me. So he wasn't there, and then the staff asked me a few more details and like what I want to do and all that, and would, you know, just like I don't know. And then they're like, okay, so I think like, well, what do you want to do? Would you like to go to the police and report him? And I'm like, actually, yeah, because that fucker, he can't get away with that. And then like, they're like, but you would have to leave the Comic-Con. Like, they're not going to come to me. I guess I have to go to them. Is there no police officers at all on this venue? But yeah, they say I have to leave. And I was thinking like, damn, but I have these people here who look for me, waiting for me. And we were just getting started, so I felt bad. Like, throughout all of this and this extreme heat that we're all suffering through, I don't want to disappoint the fans, right? And the people who are not fans, but just photographers either.
So she stayed.
Like, I'm thinking for a moment, but I still come to the conclusion that I should do it. So I'm like, yeah, I guess let's go. And then the staff.
So she doesn't even go to press charge immediately? Yeah, she's a true idol. She pushed through and she decided to continue. Even though she was like on the verge of tears, as the photographer said.
Was like, well, actually, I guess you can't because he's gone. I'm like, what do you mean he's gone? And he's like, yeah, they lost him.
What?
So I'm like, eh? So I can't go to the police because he's not there anymore. We don't know where he is, right? And they're like, yeah, I guess so. I'm like, okay. Well, that's great. Yeah, then
So I assume they didn't find him again, but how incompetent they are to have let him get away. I'm actually angry.
I guess he just left the venue? I don't know where he went. I guess he left the venue, but the thing is now I can't.
Staff.
Later I talked to a police officer who, if anything, was really nice and supportive and wanted to help me, but told me that the police here will not be able to help me because I don't live here. And I mean, yeah, I've heard this stuff before, so that's just how it is here. If I don't live here, even if he's Japanese and just did a crime of assault, I guess he gets away with it unless he kills me or something. So the police officer was like, yeah, what you can do is, by the way, this was later, like after I changed and everything, I talked to the police officer. He said I should, like, the only thing that really makes sense for me now is going to the embassy and report to them what happened, which doesn't mean at all that they would go to the police for me. They probably won't unless something happens again. But he said that if something happens again, I can then go to the police and say, hey, I previously went to the embassy about this. The embassy will support me on this. So now you have to deal with this issue. Now you have to. But probably now nothing would be done. This would be more like for the future. So that's very unfortunate. Because so, I mean, this is, even if I were to go to the police, I don't know if I could do anything because, so I don't have his real name or address. obviously, like, why would I have that? He's the stalker, not me.
Well, we
but-
can find his real name and address pretty easily. And she could also ask, she could do a lawsuit, and she could sue Google for them to send her his information under the guise that he's been stalking her and sending her like creepy messages. She'd actually have a chance. Well, Google have given up Sabaki's information before. It's for information release, not... She would sue Google for information release, not for like a criminal case or whatever. Well, Google will fight back because they don't want to give any info, right? They always do that. They're gonna say, no, it's not necessary, you didn't do anything. And then she's gonna have to be, look, he sent me multiple messages on this account, blah, 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 this. I have the rights to know who he is. Now you gotta reveal his, divulge the information so I can properly take legal actions against him. And then that's how, I mean, that's probably how Nijisanji found Raziel. That's probably why it took so long for her to get that cease and desist. It's, they probably, they did an information request from an internet provider or something. And anyway, I don't even know if it's necessary. Like, his face is revealed, so I'm pretty sure like the netizens can probably find him now, like his real name. A subpoena, is that what it's called? The KFP agents will get him. The KFP agents just need to be supportive to Kiara right now. Knowing the guy doesn't help if she can't press charge. Yeah, we're kind of going in circles.
What I have is previous incidents, and now like a lot of the people who saw the incident who can provide testaments in theory. But so regarding previous incidents, so you may be curious, this guy, well, I used to stream on a website called Nico Nico Doga, and I was pretty young back then, and I lived in Japan for a while, and during that time, even when I didn't live there but just visited very often, I did like fan meetups that were really small. They were like, including me and my friend, we were like maybe 9-10 people, like really small meetups. And all of these people were like viewers from my Nico Nico live streams back then, and I was like 16, 17, 18, yeah, 16, 17.
Oh, this is the part. This is where you guys say that he's been stalking her since she was a minor. I bet this is what she's gonna say now. I'm calling it.
It may have really been that long ago. Shit. Oof. And I think I remember this guy came to one of these, I think this is where it started. He came to one of these fan meetups, and he was, back then I think he was still normal and nice. And so to these few fans, back then I only had a handful of fans. I cherished every single fan that would go that far to see me at anywhere, really.
Yeah.
So I was really nice to everybody, but like...
Yeah, sometimes you don't know yet the line that they're gonna cross. Like, they may be just a little bit like socially awkward, but they're not mean, they're not like cruel.
You know, I didn't say to anybody that I love them, I'm gonna marry them or date them or anything, but I was just nice, doing like normal fan interactions. And I think he was there, and what may have happened is when he was being treated nicely by me, I guess that was enough to trigger something in him.
Oh, gosh.
Mental illness and stalker tendencies, I guess, because after that I think is when everything wasn't normal anymore. He then...
See, this is why I'm never nice to you guys. This is why I gotta keep bullying chat. No, but I actually had this debate with one of my friends, and I was like, when people are in love with the idols, do you think... The point that I was defending is that they probably don't think that they actually have a shot with her, and my friend, one of my mods, was saying, no, I believe that these crazy people, they actually believe that the idol wants to be with them. Like, oh, she read my super chat, she wants to be with me, she read my chat, she thinks about me all the time. And I was like, really? And since then, I've been proven wrong so many times. My friend was totally right on this. It's exactly what she's describing right now, and this just proves this point even further. It's so creepy.
He started to stalk me and like sending me like all these love messages that are really uncalled for, make no sense because I did not lead him on or anything. He's disgusting. Like, ew. He's just a fan. But yeah, he wants to marry me, he loves me, I love him too, he says. Oh, he knows it. And yeah, keeps on asking me to meet him, that he needs to tell me something, blah, blah, blah. And then I don't know what happened, which incident happened first, if it was the airport one or the previous Komike one.
Shut up.
But both of these are many years ago. Then the airport one is, I was still very young, I was probably before I turned 20. I arrived in Japan at the airport. There were like 2 normal fans there.
Okay, so right before she turned 20.
They're waiting for me, and one not so normal fan, this guy. The 2 normal fans, they just like said hi and then they left. And this guy, the stalker guy, He follows me. I walk away from him. I ignore him. I don't say anything to him. I walk away from him as fast as I can with my suitcases. He follows me. He follows me. He follows me. I go to one side of the airport. I go to the other side of the airport. He still follows me. Still follows me. I try to go up the escalator. Follows.
And there's a lot of security at an airport. Do you understand that, like, if you try to commit a crime at an airport, you do not care about the consequences. Diagnostic and Statistical Manual 5th edition. Oh, that's the DSM. Rima senpai, please read the super chat. Notice me. I love our horse. Rima, saddle up. Let's go back to plowing the field. No plowing.
Me, I go down, he follows me, but I need to go to the train. I'm trying to get rid of him because I'm not gonna board the train with this guy so that he knows where I'm going. So then I'm like, well, fuck. I'll look for police. I go to the train part of the station of the airport, and I find the police that is like stationed at the train station. And I'm like, hey, this guy's following me. He's still following me when I'm talking to the police. What a fucking idiot. Oh, okay. They go to him, they bring him in. They put me in a room, they put him in a room, and they talk to us separately. This was before a Comic-Con. I came to Japan for a Comic-Con. Why is it always fucking Comic-Con, man? And we talk in these rooms, and I explain to them who he is and how he has been like bothering me. And they ask me like why I'm here. I'm like, I'm going to Comic-Con. They're like, well, maybe you shouldn't go because of this guy. And I'm like, that's your solution? Like, I came here from all the way from Austria, and I came here for Comic-Con, so I'm going to go. And they're like, well, okay, I guess so. They said like they're taking his data so that I think they said if anything happens, you know,
they have his.
Let us know.
There you go.
Now,
they have his
can't do
info.
anything because nothing really happened. But if something happened,
Yeah, but they have his files. They probably have it in the system somewhere that he got like arrested once, right?
we have his data. So they have
Wait
his real
for
name and
it.
stuff. But this is so many years ago. I asked the policeman that I met today, how long do you keep records generally? And he's like, maybe 3 or 5 years, depends. So honestly, I think that record is lost anyway, if that is true. But I would hope that you could still dug it out. I don't know. I mean, maybe because it never went to court or anything, that's why it would be gone, because it was just like a record of sorts.
Oh my god.
But yeah, back then...
It's like in my download folder. The records are worse than my download folder.
And you know, they took me quite seriously. They were just like, okay, we can't really help you now unless something happens. And when something happens, it's too late. Duh. And they were also like, okay, well, we are, you know, in this region, we can't help you in any other regions because, like, it's a different prefecture where Comic-Con is happening versus where the airport is. So anyway, I go to the event, and I think in this time, everything was fine. Probably because he was already spooked because of talking to the police, being interrogated a little bit there. And then the funny thing, the cool thing is, and I back then, many years ago, I wrote about this on Twitter too. Like, this is all recorded. You could find all the exact dates if you dig deep. Although it might have been on my previous Twitter account. But the police showed up. The local police showed up at some point halfway through the day. Apparently, they've been looking for me for the whole day, looking through all these cosplay areas because I didn't even reveal to what cosplay area I'm going or what cosplay I'm wearing. So they were just looking for any girl called Keekihime in between these thousands of hundreds and thousands of people. So I really applaud that and appreciate that. They didn't have to, because as the guy at the airport said, they can't. They even said they can't like communicate that to them for some reason, just because they're different branches. I guess they can't communicate that to them. But they end up communicating it because I think at the time there were other news with like foreigners in Japan being abducted or something. And that was pretty bad news at the time. So they probably didn't want any more bad news like that. So that's why the staff, even though nobody's paying them to I'm not paying them to bodyguard me, but they ended up bodyguarding me for the rest of the day. There's just like 2 policemen standing around while I'm taking photos. Thankfully, nothing happened on that day anymore. But then I guess it was surely then after that, 1 or 2 years later, I suppose, at a different comic, I was just like, you know, doing my thing, standing around, taking pictures with photographers, and
It's wild that like you can easily purchase cops to like block a street off for you if you need to do like a production or an event, but it's harder to get them to fucking protect you and do their job.
Stand in the line. So I can't really see because I'm focusing on taking pictures and looking at the camera. So I guess I didn't see, this has been so long, I don't remember, but I didn't see the guy, I guess, but he was standing behind a photographer, I think. Or was he standing on the side and then just coming up to me? Whatever, like he came up to me and he immediately goes too close to me and tries to kiss me. I dodge. And this is after I already went to the police with him, right? I dodge, I kick him, and he takes 2 steps back, looks at me, shocked like he's a deer on the highway. You know what I mean? At night, a deer standing on the highway in front of a car, like, what the fuck? Looks at me shocked, and I'm, like, not sure what the fuck just
Why is he shocked? He's the one that followed her. She should be the shocked one.
happened, but upset and, like, about to cry. There's a few camera guys around us, but they didn't look at the moment. They looked away. And we weren't in a mega crowded area at that point, but yeah. I don't remember how it all ended. I must have written about it on Twitter back then. I don't know when it was, but Anyway, we somehow were able to go different ways for some reason. I think, I don't know. But it happened, you know? It happened. Another incident with this guy. And that's so many years ago. That must have been the last time I saw him. Maybe, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years ago. Maybe I'm totally miscalculating. I don't know. And I think a while after that, for months or years, he still continued to write to me or try to get to me in a creepy way. Again, like, oh, why don't I know you love me, I know you love me, you need me, I need you, blah, 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 disgusting shit. Delusional as fuck. Now, it was my first comic in a million years. I did not hear from him in a million years. Honestly, those emails, I didn't even realize that was him. But that doesn't excuse anything anyway. Him sending me emails, what am I supposed to do? Is that, because I'm not even answering, is that supposed to be a good reasoning as to why you assault me in public again? So, yeah, I did not think he would be there. So, from now on, I don't think like anything like me bringing pepper spray and tasers and stuff would help, because I imagine if I were in the same situation and I had pepper spray, I wouldn't have been able to use it. It would have been in my bag that would be 1 meter next to me. The guy would grab me, push me to the side while I try to dodge and run away. And how the fuck would I be able to grab it in that moment? These items would not help me. Now, I wasn't completely alone. I was with some...
Yeah, true. He took her by surprise, so she wouldn't even have like gotten it out in time. Plus, once I tried to use a pepper spray, and like it was like backward, and like it ended up stinging my eyes. It's kind of hard. It's complicated to use, I think.
Someone there to help me with stuff, but that didn't help me either, obviously, in that situation. It was not something that avoided. So I guess my solution is, I guess I really have to hire a fucking bodyguard in a suit from now on. I really thought I could avoid this kind of stuff. Like, I'm like a relatively easygoing person when it comes to this stuff. Like, I try to handle these issues on my own, and usually those issues don't arise anyway. But I can't go to another event in Japan with the risk of this guy going there again. I would hope he finally got the hint now. Well, but I can't be sure, right? So I guess for the next couple of events, whenever that will be, I will get a bodyguard, a real one. Not just someone who's offering their help to me, a real one, a professional one. And because but another thing I could do, I guess, is like not announcing the events I'm going to. But then the whole point is that I like can...
Yeah, the whole point is that you meet fans. I mean, you could have some trustworthy KFP fans like come in and try to help her. I volunteer as tribute. She would benefit from some martial art classes. Yeah, I actually wanted to take some martial art classes. There's like this Chinese martial art that's called the white crane technique, and it's actually really good for women because it's not about like strength. It's about, well, I don't know what it's about, but it's like about agility and stuff. And now that you guys are like talking, it reminds me of the katana guy that with the 5-step technique, you know, who stopped some subway robbers. Have you guys seen that meme? Well, it's not really a meme. You DM with him even while we go horseback riding and plow in the fields? I mean, plow the fields? Listen, this never happened. It's only happened in your dreams. Are you even allowed to fight back? I assume you do? KFP security now accepting applications, like actually. Hey, thank you for membership, QB. It's good to learn to escape how to escape from a grab. Yeah, exactly. When somebody like has a hold off of you, there's a technique you can use to probably get away. I don't know.
Give you guys a chance to meet me. And even if it wasn't about fans, I would want the photographers to find me and take pictures with me and stuff, right? Especially ones that I know from a long time ago. So I would want to somewhere just like be able to, like any other normal cosplayer, be able to announce I'm going to an event, I'm going in this outfit, see you there. And I've been generally relatively secretive about events. Like,
all you need to do is use the 5-point the 5-point exploding heart technique on him. Easy.
Look at me announced quite ahead of time because I had a booth. But like the convention in Italy, I tried to keep quiet about it and like low-key about it as much as I could. So that at least people couldn't maybe plan too far ahead to find me there in case they had bad...
Wait, in Japan you'd get in less trouble for groping someone than if you tried to defend yourself? Are you fucking kidding me? Japan has self-defense on paper, but the protection of it are so weak that it basically doesn't exist in practice. You can be charged with assault if you cause more harm than you prevent. Are you serious? Am I a fan of Kill Bill? Yeah, for sure.
Bad intentions. But then there's so many people with good intentions, and I don't want to ruin their experiences, their possible experiences. I don't want to punish everybody for one single bad guy who should ideally just perish forever. But I can't punish everybody else for that guy's behavior. I don't want to. And while I was feeling like super disgusted, like because my whole body, you see it in the picture, my whole right side of my body, the moment he let go, I had this sensation in my body that felt like I want to rip off my arm. I want to take a shower immediately because I feel so violated.
Like, douse yourself in Purell. Legit.
I couldn't though. You know, as I said, we just started taking pictures, so I wanted to, you know, be nice to the people who were there for me. And, you know, the guy was gone anyway. I couldn't do anything anyway because he was just let go into the free once again with mentally ill dude. So yeah, I don't know. I think I said it all. I think I'm not gonna do this really in overseas events, like European events. Another thing I was thinking, because for me it's really just about taking pictures when it comes to like Japanese events. And if you are at like an official booth, a Kigyo Busu, working for like game companies or so as their official cosplayer, which is something I always wanted to do. If you do that, I feel like if I did that, I feel like I would be more protected. Fans would still be able to see me, but there would be booth staff, many, perhaps security too, and I could like warn them beforehand to keep an eye out for such a guy and all that. I feel like I would feel generally more protected in such an environment, in such an event. I just need one of these booths to hire me. But I always wanted to work for an Arc Knights booth, man. So...
Yeah, maybe we just need to put our idols like in boxes, like transparent box. Not allowed to touch them or come near them.
Please save me from my misery, Yostar. Please let me work for you and give me your protection, your divine protection, Arc Knights, please. So those are my two solutions, I guess, to either be hired at a booth when it comes to Japanese events, hired at a booth, or get a freaking real bodyguard. I almost feel ridiculous for like showing up with a bodyguard. Like,
yes, Benz, no headbands.
It's like, of course that's good, but it's like I feel like, you know, I feel like pretentious or so. But well, now we have very recent proof that it is indeed necessary. So yeah, I am.
Bro,
really...
that's not pretentious. That's like safety. And this is why like a lot of celebrities, even though they start making lots of money, they gotta spend so much more. Like they're either always in lawsuits or they gotta hire security and it costs so much. You know, Madonna walks around with like a plethora of bodyguards around her, like in a formation. You can barely see her.
Really disappointed that something like this happens and ruins my day. Because besides that, things were fun. I met Haneame, the beautiful lady, and had dinner with her. And I had a shower in her bathroom. And she wanted to take a shower with me. And I said, no, please let me shower alone. She wanted to go to onsen with me. I was like, no, I will. This is the first time we ever meet. I don't feel comfortable in general. How could I feel comfortable next to such a perfectly shaped, gorgeous lady?
She
So I turned down the nice offers from Haneame, but she's gorgeous and she was really sweet, and we had dinner and she treated me for really, really, really good food.
Aww.
And it was definitely a nice distraction from the insanity.
What a missed opportunity, man. But I get it. It's intimidating when you find somebody really beautiful. Now creating the KFB Daily branch. If someone is harassing me on the subway, you will almost never see someone hitting or subduing the harasser because a guy can later sue them. Okay, thank you for this insight. This is really helpful. Thank you so much. That sucks that it's like that. I wish it was... they need to change something. This is crazy.
I feel sorry for screaming out of the top of my lungs. I think people must have heard me from so far and be like, what the fuck is going on over there? I'm sorry. In hindsight, I'm so embarrassed for making such a scene, but it was definitely a scene by nature. I can't believe it happened. I'm not even like, did it actually happen? Am I back to that other incident many years ago? Did this really happen? I can't really fathom it. I had a good shower though, so I feel better after washing that.
It could have been better.
Disgusting feeling off of me. I'm okay. People have been saying I'm glad you're safe now, but like, that's the thing. Maybe I'm safe now, but I wasn't safe then, so...
But she's not really safe. He's still out there. It's worse now because she doesn't know where he is. He could be watching her. Just the feeling that somebody knows about me that I don't know, and I don't know about them, that they're talking about me, that they're thinking about me, and I don't even know they exist, is so fucking creepy. Now imagine that times like 100, and with the fact that like he's actively pursuing her and forcing himself onto her. It's disgusting.
I'm not safe. I'm like, yeah, mentally in distress, but I'm glad I could let it out. You guys have the story, and I retweeted something that you are very welcome to retweet. please retweet it as much as you can. Thank you so much for the fan who took the pictures as great evidence. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm gonna rest now, and I don't know. I don't know if I'm even considering next Comic-Con, but just in general, because I don't know if I would have time for it. If I go, don't worry, I would go with either a real bodyguard or try to be in a safer, like a company booth. It's just like, this is another one of these cases where I'm sad that I cannot do my one single hobby in a normal way anymore as I used to in the past. And always have to be wary and on alert and careful, and just like there's some people who I tell about previous stalker problems that I have, and I feel like people don't take it seriously. Like, this is fucking serious. When I say this person is dangerous, please take it seriously.
Wait, who don't take it seriously? You think she's talking about like authorities, or she's talking about like fans or friends? Rima, hypothetical question: is this one of the moments where cancel culture could be good? Or canceling him won't do anything. He's already getting canceled. He's getting exposed all over the internet, but this guy has no shame. It's the like shame is one of the things that authorities rely on the most for the population to self-regulate. There's a lot of things that even when other people aren't watching, that we don't dare to do, just because of the thought of being shamed and having to adapt to like societal and culture norms. So that is a self-regulating thing on its own. And when you're missing a few views and you don't have that sense of shame, you get somebody like that guy, and you don't know how far he's gonna go. You don't know what he's gonna do because he's unpredictable.
Just throwing that out there, but I think it's not gonna be heard by the right people necessarily. But I think by now I have a good sense and radar for mentally ill people who like to stalk others, because I have my fair share of those. So yeah, I'm gonna go eat ice cream now, and then
ice cream's good.
Hopefully,
ice cream is good to relax because it releases like some endorphins. Apparently, that's what my psychologist friend told me.
Thank you for letting me vent. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. I wanted to let this out so that I can move on and not let this occupy my mind for too long. So, oh, by the way, I don't know where the hell that rumor would come from, but this guy did never try to invade my home.
Okay.
I don't know if this comes from this one old clip of me when I did a stream. I don't know if it was a Twitter stream or a Nico Nico stream back then, but that was when I wasn't living in Japan. I was just in an Airbnb. It was a shitty, old, scary Airbnb, but nobody tried to break in, I think. Like, I wouldn't be aware of anything. There was just like loud, creepy wind, I think. I don't know. I was definitely scared, and I was crying because of that, but not even because of that only. It was more, I think, I was just scared of cockroaches that were on the floor where I was supposed to be sleeping on. And I was panicking that I didn't want to stay in that Airbnb, and that's why I was streaming and like trying to get myself calm by having not being alone by streaming. You know, if I'm streaming, I'm not alone, right? You guys are right here with me, right? So that's many years ago. I was not like, nobody was breaking in and assaulting me. I was just like freaking out because of loud noises and old dirty Airbnb that I didn't know how to get the shower to work because it was like 50, 60, 70 years old, and cockroaches, and no, it was
I would freak out because of cockroaches as well.
That guy didn't break in. He was not part of that story. So please don't start mixing stories of my life that you don't really know the details and the origins from. I see that happen every once in a while. People making up their own stories. So if you have a question about any incident, feel free to ask me, and I might explain it to you if you ask me publicly on Twitter. Don't try to bait replies to me in DMs, please. Thank you. Okay, that's my part.
I hate that when people try to bait you to reply to them privately in DMs. I fucking hate that. We don't receive enough DMs as it is. I guess you can get a restraining order against the guy, and totally. That's what I thought. What the fuck does Hololive have to do with it? That's what I'm saying. I wonder how this will affect totally unrelated Vtuber Kiara. Yeah, I wonder so too.
Thank you. Good night. Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye. Good night. Thanks for listening.
Good night. I'm not sure if you have already mentioned this in the stream, but the stalker had been following her for 6 years. So has he been following her since she's a minor or what? Because a few people in chat said that, but I'm not good at maths. I don't even know how old she is right now. Oh, she's 29, almost 30, and 6 years. So no, she was legal for the whole time if it's 6 years. She mentioned that she's known him since she was 16 though, but he wasn't a creep back then. Where exactly did he turn from a fan to a stalker? We don't know that. We don't know that. Yeah, she was an idol when she was 16, 17. From her idol days, they've met, they know. Yeah. Yup. Parasocialism is one hell of a drug. Yeah. This is when all the worst traits of modern society meet together. It's like the perfect cocktail of parasocial, probably loneliness, and mental illness, probably.